Welcome to Learn with me, Mrs. Sullivan. It's Water's Way by Lisa Westberg Peters, illustrated by Ted Rand. Water has a way of changing. It can rise from the sea or fall from the clouds. It can drift in a fog or lie still on a winter pond. Every day, water is changing all across the land and sea and sky, and changing inside Tony's house, too. It was early winter. Outside, a breeze blew into the hills, and the smell of the sea filled the morning air. Inside, Tony kept an eye on the sky and a hand on his brand new sled. He was hoping for snow. Behind him, steam rose from a pot on the stove, and the smell of soup filled the room. When the moist breeze from the sea met the hills, it rose and cooled off. Clouds formed in the sky. When the steam from the soup pot hit the cool kitchen window, it covered the glass with a foggy curtain. Outside, a few raindrops splashed on the ground. The air wasn't cold enough for snow. Soon houses and hillsides shimmered behind the sheets of rain. Inside, Tony wrote his name on the fogged window and peeked through. Drips streaked down the glass from each letter. Have you noticed a similarity between what's happening inside Tony's house with the water and what's happening outside Tony's house with the water? Some of the rain collected into puddles. Some of it soaked into the ground, and tree roots sucked it from the soil. Some of it seeped into the earth, where it would creep through the rocks. A tiny puddle formed on Tony's windowsill. Tony poked at it. There'd be no sledding today. In the warmth of the afternoon sun, roofs dried out. Puddles shrank. Evergreens lost their glisten. In the kitchen, the fog on the glass and the puddle on the windowsill disappeared. By evening, a nearby creek grew wide and full from the day's rain. It surged downhill, down to the sea. After supper, Tony climbed the stairs for his bath. He turned on the tap full blast, and a steamy torrent filled the tub. When the creek reached the sea, salty waves washed in and out, around and around, until the creek blended into the sea. When Tony stepped in for his bath, he added a few drops of green soap. He sailed his boats in and out, around and around the bathtub ocean until the green stream faded and blurred. The wind stirred up the surf, and a bit of the sea escaped into the sky. It was invisible, but the smell of the sea filled the air. Tony whipped up bubbles in his ocean, and the smell of soap filled the room. As the breeze from the sea met cooler air over the land, tiny drops formed around specks of dust. Each drop was too small to see, but together they made clouds. As Tony headed for bed, he found another window clouded, this time from his bath. That night, the air turned cold, cold enough for the tiny drops in the clouds to freeze into ice crystals. They grew larger and heavier. All night, Tony dreamed of sledding. He stayed warm and cozy beneath a mound of blankets. But the fog on the bathroom window froze into a frosty curtain. By dawn, the clouds were thick with ice crystals. The larger ones, too heavy to float, began to fall. In the morning, Tony woke early. He quickly scratched a hole in the frost. Was it cold enough for snow? I almost gave that away. Houses and hillsides vanished behind a wild flurry of snowflakes. The snow settled on the rooftops and the evergreens. It covered the new layer of ice on the puddles. A snowflake landed on Tony's face. He wished it would last forever, but it soon melted in his smile because water has a way of changing. I hope you enjoyed Water's Way. Throughout this story, we see how water can be in many forms. It can be in a gas form, like in a cloud, or water vapor that's really invisible until it forms a cloud. And then it can be rain or snow. The steam in our house is like a little cloud, and it happens inside, and clouds happen outside. Water is constantly changing its form. It can be a liquid, solid, or a gas. Water is pretty interesting. I hope you found Water's Way interesting too. Till next time. Thanks for watching Learn with me, Mrs. Sullivan.